Puerto Rico. There were few all-Latino units in the U.S. military in World War II. In contrast to the segregation of African Americans, most Latinos fought alongside Anglo soldiers and sailors, experiencing the same terrors and boredom, brotherhood and death. For many Latinos, it was the first taste of full citizenship, to be treated as equal to Anglos. And some would challenge anyone to take that equality away after the war, like Medal of Honor winner Macario Garcia. Garcia was a Mexican national from Sugar Land, Texas, where he worked as a migrant picking cotton and tended cattle. His parents had moved from Mexico in search of a better life. They found a harsh existence.
It was a rough life. A one-room shack at best, holes in the walls, holes in the ceiling. But they were people who were willing to make it work because they wanted a better life for their children.
In June 1944, 2 days after the D-Day invasion of Europe, Private Macario Garcia landed at Normandy as one of the replacements for men lost in the bloody fighting. The Army assigned him to the 22nd Infantry Regiment, which soon blazed its way across France and Belgium. But by the fall of '44, the Allies' rapid advance had ground to a halt at the German border and the Hürtgen Forest. For Garcia and the U.S. military, this was a new kind of fighting. The dense conifer forest, with few roads, made troop movements slow and hard-fought. German artillery shells exploded in treetops, turning them into deadly shards. Well-placed German machine guns produced withering crossfire. On November 27th, Garcia's Baker Company was pinned down as they attempted to take a hill overlooking the town of Grasau. Garcia was ordered forward with another scout.
When Macario and his other scout, J.P. Edwards, start across the open area, J.P.'s hit between the eyes, falls dead at Macario's feet. Macario's hit in the shoulder, spun around, knocked to the ground.
Garcia crawled into the underbrush. As he began to flank the source of the fire, a machine gun nest, he surprised a German soldier. They traded shots. Garcia hit in the foot. The German killed. Garcia kept going.
He finally comes up on that machine gun nest. Macario shoots. One German claws at the air and falls backward. The other doubles over and falls forward.
Garcia threw a grenade to destroy the gun, and later recalled seeing the bodies of the dead Germans shudder.
And he starts back down the hill.
But just as he began his report to his company commander, a second machine gun opened fire.
And he just takes off. He's back across the open area alone, back up the hill.
Garcia located the second machine gun nest and tried to destroy it with a grenade. But wounded, he missed.
He has to get closer and throws, lobs another one in there, and this time he's accurate with his throw.
Macario's actions, taking out 2 machine gun nests single-handedly, allowed 2 companies to charge the hill in a successful assault.
And at the end of the day, he's a bloody mess, he's wounded, and yet he's refusing to go to the rear. He's refusing any help because his place is with his men. And that's the kind of man that Macario Garcia was.
Garcia would spend 2 months in Army hospitals recovering from his wounds. Reports of his heroism had already started up the chain of command. Even before most men had seen battle, the war effort changed the life of Latinos on the home front. Calling millions to military service created massive labor shortages. The U.S. government brought rural Mexicans across the border in a guest worker bracero program. In the cities, the rapidly expanding defense industries ignored tradition and actively sought women and minorities.
For instance, you see in the aircraft industry in Los Angeles, Douglas Aircraft puts out huge billboards in Spanish, essentially saying, we have jobs and we want Mexicans to apply. This is a tremendous shift.
A young teenager, Carmen Gurrola, quit a job in a sewing factory to work at a Goodyear plant, manufacturing rubberized gas tanks for fighters and bombers. Her job required climbing inside the tank after it had cooled.
Just like getting inside of a coffin. My face was totally black from the rubber. Of course, I had a bandana coveralls. I didn't look like a girl. You felt proud that you were doing something for the defense of the country. And I thought, even if I don't speak English very well, doesn't matter. I did the job.
Especially in urban areas, the war effort pushed together ethnic groups with little prior contact, including Latinos and Anglos.
In some cases, this provides for bridging of those more traditional ethnic and racial gaps. On the other hand, it provides a lot of conflict.
In Los Angeles, that conflict would find its focus in a new style of dress, popular among young Latinos, the zoot suit.
I don't know where this style came from. We all just took to it. We get our paycheck on Friday, and then Saturday we get gussied up as best we could, go dancing. The girls seem to like it a little better when I dress this way. We also developed our slang. Hey, carnal, your brother. Hey, carnal, ¿cómo te vas? How's it going? ¿Qué suave tacucho tienes? And a nice coat you have, you know what I mean? And there's quite a few that are, I don't want to say, repeat in front of the ladies here, you know?
The zoot suit had an association with barrio gang members, known as pachucos, adding an air of criminality to the drapes. Though like the black leather jacket of the 50s, some kids wore it just to be hip. While the zoot suit became its symbol, the immediate cause of tensions between Anglos and Latinos in Los Angeles was a huge new Navy armory for induction and training, built just before the war in a traditionally Mexican part of the city. The trip from the armory to the bars and red light district downtown ran right through a Mexican neighborhood, leading to charges of harassment from both sides. White servicemen complained of verbal abuse and physical attacks by zoot suiters. But local Mexican-American youth also felt besieged.
The sailors used to come in bunches, drunk, come from downtown and pass through our neighborhood to get to their base. And they would sometimes think that our girlfriends were prostitutes and proposition the girls.
By late spring 1943, confrontations had become a daily occurrence. Then on the evening of June 4th, those seething tensions exploded in what came to be known as the Zoot Suit Riots. About 200 white sailors and Marines, armed with sticks and bats, took to the streets, seeking revenge for recent scuffles. Anyone wearing a zoot suit became the target, even those as young as 12. Mexican Americans were beaten, along with those that tried to stop the attackers, and stripped of their clothes. The servicemen halted streetcars and entered bars in search of zoot suiters. 7-year-old Sal Castro was in a downtown movie theater.
They turned on the lights, and a bunch of sailors went into the theater looking for Mexican kids Then they yanked them out and they started taking off their pants or cutting their trousers. And the worst part is I said, well, they're going to stop this. The cops are coming and they're going to stop it. Hell no, the cops stood there laughing.
For 3 nights, servicemen freely roamed the streets of Mexican-American neighborhoods, downtown and other parts of LA in trucks and hired taxis, beating Latinos, along with some African Americans and American Filipinos.
So anytime you went someplace, you either, if you saw a truck coming with a bunch of sailors, you just duck, hide.
It was horrible, believe me. Very un-American.
Ironically, many of those victimized in the Zoot Suit riots had brothers and friends in the military, or would end up serving themselves.